tapped into the culture code, where business, creativity, and culture collide. With VIP Vern, entrepreneur, visionary, creator. This ain't commentary, it's lived experience. Let's decode.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Culture Code. I'm your host, VIP Vern, fresh off the plane from Hong Kong, back from the future. That's right. And today we're going to get into some of my trip highlights, some of the experiences I've had in Hong Kong itself, and also some of the cultural insights. So let's begin today. Let's get straight into it. One of the spaces and places that I really liked, that I was kind of not thinking about going first. And the funny thing about it is, those who know me know that I do not like heights. Heights and me are not friends. I love views, but I don't like roller coasters. I didn't, any of those things is not in my playbook whatsoever. So, but the Peak, man. So you're on this tram, all right? And this tram goes up to beyond elevation of any building inside of Hong Kong's entire area. And you go up this whole tram and you're on this tram for about 10 minutes. And then when you finally get to the top, you get these amazing views of the entire city that are just breathtaking. A bit of long lines initially to go inside. I felt like I was at an amusement park again. That was the kind of the vibe that it gave me there. And then went to a restaurant at the top, Rifles. That was really cool. Indian cuisine was A1. I had no beefs about the food. Everything was amazing. I had some golden prawn, curry prawns. I had also the lamb biryani. I had the garlic naan. The vibes was great. Everyone enjoyed themselves, and definitely if you're in Hong Kong, that is a must go to, is the Peak.
You're now tapped into the culture code.
I went to, of course, the hotel restaurants. I did my thing there, went to Hong Tong. That was a great restaurant as well there. Cantonese food, wok fried, A1 quality as well. Experience was amazing. Presentation was amazing. So I didn't really have any bad experience with any of the dishes that I actually had. Some people know this. If you come from the city, you know that we look for hole in the walls. Hole in the walls, restaurants, or small spots can give you some of the best food you could imagine. I had to go hit these Hong Kong streets, and I wanted to go out and see the local experience as well. So that was one of the things that I ended up doing. I went about a couple different places. One place that stood out to me was, I'm from the Bronx. So people want to know, okay, yeah, we know the bougie food. We know what you do, Vern, but what about the local experience? Did you have anything that was like something that I would normally just eat and grab? Yes, I did do that. I found this place. It was called Hot Star. Hot Star would be like the equivalent to like Kennedy Fried Chicken. You have a Texas Fried Chicken, little booth, hole in the wall, right? Just a little glass. Then you see the food. You don't even go inside. The chicken I had was like this little filet chicken breast. Well, listen to me. The chicken was fire.
You're now tapped into the culture code.
I went to Whampoa Gardens. I went to Causeway Bay, Times Square. Shim Shao Choi was one of my favorites, which is not far because we stayed on the bay. They call that Victoria Dockside. Went to this place called the K11 MUSEA. This place, ladies and gentlemen, this place has to be top 5 malls in the world. Okay? Art meets fashion. You want to talk about culture? Let's talk about K11 MUSEA. This place is off the charts, okay? The architecture from staircases to any of the fixtures that are put in there. The elevator is sick. At first, I couldn't find the button. I was like, where's the button at? Then it was actually inside the book. It's this book, and then the button is disguised inside the book, and you press the button, and then that's how you actually open the elevators. So that was really quite clever the way that was designed. Shout out to the K11 MUSEA.
This ain't commentary. It's lived experience. Let's decode.
I got a chance to as well speak to some of the store curators. I have a fashion brand myself, Legends of Creativity, and I wanted to see about some level of placement in Asia. So that was a good experience for me to see some of the cultural differences, to see how I would fit into that space. I got some firsthand takes to see how what they thought about my brand. It is very important that you do that if you are a business owner and you're looking to go into certain spaces. Get firsthand insight from the people who actually work in the stores. They'll tell you, well, listen, this looks great, but maybe our folks don't wear these colors here, but this aesthetic looks great. And those are the things that I actually got. It was very heartwarming to just see that I was received well from that.
You're now tapped into the culture code.
I killed two birds with one stone. That's why the baby could come along for the journey as well. So that was a really good thing that I was able to kind of multitask. So it is possible. It is possible, definitely, to combine two things, have some fun, and at the same time get some work done. And that's kind of like how I ended up designing my life. And those were one of the things that when I first said I didn't want to get into heavy into brick and mortar businesses, was that I wanted to have this ability to be able to take my laptop, my mobile phone, and go anywhere around the world and still be able to work and get business done. And that was one of the things that I can now say that I have executed to a T, and I've been able to do that for a couple of years now. And it's a really amazing feeling if you ever get the chance to put yourself in that position. It's something that money can't really buy, but your skills will get you there.
This ain't commentary. It's lived experience. Let's decode.
Me moving around in Hong Kong, I remember taking the taxi and I got out, and it was that day, it was like some light rain. And some of them, they're really quick to like just put your stuff out on the street, right? Okay, I'm going, boom, put your stuff out. And I was by myself and I was trying to manage to like open up the Nuna stroller, because you know how it has to like flip over. It doesn't really just close. So you have to hold the two buttons and pull up at the side so it can flip over. So when I did that, I didn't have full freedom because I had the baby and it was drizzling. So I remember one of the toys dropped and like two or three women came over like to help instantly. And when they did that, man, I was like, wow, it was right on time. And it just showed from a local perspective of the hospitality of the people. And it was very warm and receptive. One of the things that I did see culturally wise that I wanted to discuss was about the jewelry. The jewelry within the Asian culture is nothing to be played with. I thought at first, I saw a couple of jewelry stores I went to, and I saw these huge, slick Rick like charms and pendants. And I was like, what is these things used for? Because I'm like, hold up. I mean, this caught my eye instantly. So I went and asked a couple of questions. What's the weight of these pendants? 100 grams. I'm like, what? The next thing I'm like, okay, what are you using these for? Because I don't really see too many people in general when I look into the Asian culture wearing these big pendants on a normal day-to-day basis. But it intrigued me because this is how we kind of rock things in the US, from a hip hop culture. So one of the things I was told by a jeweler is like, actually, these are like gifts giving during weddings, like for them to wear the day of, just like how you'd wear a gown or a tuxedo to accompany those accessories. I was like, oh, wow. So yeah, and it's just to just see that was quite insightful for me because, it took me to another place to say, well, these things are looked down on in the US by sometimes you see people of color wearing these things, and then you say, well, you know what? Oh, he's trying to show off, or he's doing too much, and that's not the case. These are celebrated in another culture. This is something a part of their tradition, so it opened my eyes to say, man, you know what, man, take your culture and celebrate it. Be you, express yourself. That was one of the takeaways I took from that culturally. Thank you for joining us once again for another episode of The Culture Code. And we're glad you came today to tune in again. And we look forward to talking about a little bit more culture with you. Let's decode some more.